Do you think Velda is alive?
No. Oh, no. No, I think she was probably killed in that house.
The day that she went missing, her daughter was celebrating her birthday. She made a phone call to her daughter and said, I'm on my way.
She never showed up.
Here is the home where Velda Leyba may have gone missing from. This is all over the report, this home. We've recently read in certain reports that Albuquerque police tried to possibly connect Lisa Duncan, her case, with Velda's case.
I found out that the police had been there, I don't know if it was the night Velda disappeared, and they were securing the residence, but it was for the Duncan case.
Because it was just a few months after Velda disappeared that
Right.
they came to this home.
Right.
But they weren't looking for Velda then, they were looking for Lisa.
Yes.
There was supposedly, I think, blood or something in the kitchen, but that was probably from Velda.
When the vehicle was found, there was a bloody print and some fingerprints in the back.
So Detective Kimberlin believes that Velda could be buried behind what used to be a bar here in Albuquerque.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Luis Carlos. We're working on a case of a missing person. We have information that there's a possibility that the location of the property is where she might be buried.
There's one part of this case that has really stuck out, and that was one location here in Albuquerque, and that's why we've called you in to help us out.
From what I have seen and what you have shared with me, I think it's absolutely a very valid area to search.
I feel really bad for Isabel because, you know, that's her mother.
Hey everyone, I'm Crystal. I was a TV news reporter and anchor for more than 15 years, covering stories of remarkable people, tragedies that turned into heartbreak, and stories that are now part of history. But there are some stories that just stick with you.
How many missing persons cases do you believe you have?
Every year, tens of thousands of people are listed as missing. So I called in the expertise of my longtime friend, retired detective, now private investigator Lewis.
No, I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. There's no evidence behind it. You know.
Together, we're diving into cases that sit untouched for years.
Like maybe they missed something. I feel they focused too much on him.
I think so.
And it may not have been him the whole time.
And hitting the road.
All right, you ready? Farmington, here we come.
Along the way, we'll talk to those left behind.
She was wonderful. She was my older sister.
Something feels missing.
Just want her home.
Something's not right.
And to those who were part of the investigation.
I mean, the same dog found burnt remains.
All in hopes of uncovering new details.
He has never been interviewed by police.
That's the person that I think did it.
To give families some closure as we go beyond the case.
Deep breath in again.
56.
You guys ready? And 3, 2. Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Case. I'm Crystal.
Hello, everyone. I'm Louis.
In this week's episode, we are diving into a really bizarre case of a missing mom from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
That's right, Crystal. Velda Leyba has been missing since December 6th of 1992. She telephoned her daughter and said that she was on her way to visit her for her birthday. And she never turned up at the party.
Yeah, so heartbreaking. She's been waiting decades to hear anything about her mom. What's interesting, though, about this case is we've seen a lot of reports that Velda's case may be linked to another woman who went missing. The second woman, though, she ended up being found murdered in a completely different county.
But we're going to go back. We're going to start with the Albuquerque Police Department.
They're the lead agency on this case, and the report that we received from them was very, very small.
That's right, Crystal. We do not have a lot of information on this report. It is...
Yet.
We
know that her daughter has been desperately waiting for any clue as to where her mom is. At this point, She's not even looking for a prosecution because she believes that the people who may be behind her mom's disappearance are dead. Right. She just wants to find her mom.
We are also going to interview the lead detective, who is now retired. She was a cold case detective handling Velda's disappearance.
We know that she's the one that served the search warrant on the home where Velda is believed to have disappeared from. And what makes the story even more interesting is that she determined that there was blood found in one of the rooms. Was it Velda's? We're going to dive into that as well. So get ready. This is going to be a very interesting case as we unfold what happened to Velda Leyba here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Let's go beyond the case.
Take me back to the nights we felt alive, picking up the pieces on a summer night. I didn't know that I would feel just like my heart's on fire whenever I'm with you. 'Cause we go back in time to thrills I miss and all the things I wish we did.
Okay, so let's uncover what we do know so far about this case.
Okay. We know that Velda Leyba telephoned her daughter the day that she went missing. Her daughter was celebrating her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
She made a phone call to her daughter, said, I'm on my way. Then she said something to the effect that she was going to make a quick stop at a friend's house.
Right.
Before she went to her party.
So there was no indication from that conversation that Velda didn't want to come home,
No.
or Velda was trying to just leave her family altogether. There was no indication of that.
None. Zero.
We do know that night that she disappeared, it was a really heavy storm.
We did.
And that was her concern as well, was that maybe something happened to her mom during the storm.
Okay.
However, they did find her car.
They did. About 2 months later.
In a different location, though,
Right.
than where they believe she may have went missing.
Where's the in-depth report? Where, where is everything that was processed and, whatever they found in the car? Where is that? Where's the photographs?
In this missing persons report, we don't even have the location of where they believe she could have went missing from. They don't have the address of the home that we know there was a search warrant done on.
That's just what just kind of irks me in these types of investigations. We don't have everything. And when you and I sit down and we tabletop these cases, we're trying to, create this big picture, this puzzle. But how can we, when we have pieces missing out of this puzzle? Local law enforcement agencies are the ones that are holding the missing pieces. They're not.
Either they didn't release them to us, or they don't have them, or they can't find them.
Either way, they have to tell us, and they haven't. Fortunately, when you called the detective on this, it sounds like she has a lot more to tell us. There's no way, Crystal. There's no way that a missing persons report can be 10 pages. And I mean 10 pages total that we received.
We need to go talk to the detective. We have her interview set up, and she's expecting us today. So her interview could really open the door to a lot of information that we don't have on this case file.
I really hope so.
So this was the detective who was covering Velda's case after it became a cold case. Here it is.
Okay, we found.
She's also the detective who served the search warrant on the home after they found blood splatter.
About 20 years later. Let's go see what she has to say.
All right. Jeanette? Hi, I'm Crystal. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
This is Louis.
Louis. Hi, Nice to meet you.
Is it okay if we come in? Okay.
Just, I'm really sorry that I couldn't find her mom. I'll never forget her mother, and I'll never forget her. My name is Jeanette Kimberlin, and the Velda case was one of the first cases that I got when I was working some of the cold cases for the Albuquerque Police Department.
Tell me what you initially thought when you read the report.
I was trying to put a face to it, and I started, reading the report and trying to figure out people that I could talk to. And probably the first person that I got a hold of was Isabel.
I called the very next day because I knew something was wrong. I spoke to my mom that night. She was, calling to let me know she was on her way home from Pamela's, and she never showed up. And, after, 30 minutes, I was starting to get worried because at that day, that year, we had a very big blizzard here in Albuquerque, Mexico. It's one of the biggest blizzards that we had.
Wow.
And so I knew it was going to take a little bit of time for her to get there, but then, after half an hour to an hour, I started calling back to Pamela's, and, they're like, no, she already left. We don't know, where she's at. And, so the next day I called the police station to report her missing, but of course, in those days, it's just like, well, she's not a kid. She could have, left on her own. They didn't really take it serious, and they actually didn't do a written disappearing, report until they found her car, which was like 2 months later, which I feel like if they had started investigating this right away, that maybe something would have happened, or they may have found my mom, or, they just really dropped the ball from the very, very beginning. I've had problems with the police department since the day she disappeared. Like in 2011 or something like that, when they did the cold case. I forget the detective that was doing the cold case at that time too, that she wanted to investigate it. She had read my mom's file and she really resonated with it and, wanted to help me.
She brought pictures for me, and I used the photo that you have there, and I put it on the website. That way it would be there, when people read it, and you can get tips like that.
Her daughter expressed that she was concerned.
Yes.
Because the weather was so bad.
Yes.
It was like I don't know if it was the first storm of the
Yeah, it was a
season.
snowstorm, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. And so soon after that, though, what we've read in the report, her car was then found?
Yeah, I think it was found, but I think it was found near that Padilla's Body Shop in the South Valley.
Okay. Do you remember what home she was at that she called her daughter?
It was in the Kirtland Edition over on, I think it was Wheeler. And she supposedly was staying there that night. And I don't remember the rest of the specifics.
How big was the case file that you had built for Velda's case? How big was it when you left?
I did a lot of work on it.
Was it more than 10 pages?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had search warrants and all kinds of stuff in there.
I want to show you what Albuquerque police released to us. Lewis just counted all of the pages that were released to us, and it's a total of 10.
No. No, I did a lot more than that.
This is the case file for Velda Leyba.
Sure, there's a lot more. There should be. Can I see it?
Yeah, absolutely.
None of this is mine. Wow.
Just after talking with her the first time, seeing her face and her jaw just drop, thinking like this is all they have.
Right.
She wants to help
Yes.
Isabel find her mom. So much so that she stayed up all night trying to find any clues as to where the entire case file is. All right, let's go. So, you mentioned on the phone that it was on a thumb drive, is that correct?
Yeah, but I printed it all out for you.
Okay.
And then what I did was I marked it in red because those are just notes. It's not the final draft.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a lot more than what we had before.
It's a lot. It's like 50 pages.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was working in criminal investigations, I had thumb drives that I would use, and I transfer my notes back and forth because I didn't want to lose it on my computer if it crashed, you know. So I started going through all my thumb drives, and sure enough, I had some notes that I had made on the case.
So what did you find as far as the documents that were on your thumb drive?
Okay, well, I found when I got a warrant, I remember, on the Wheeler address, and what had happened was Pamela was living there, and Pamela and Velda were real good, I guess pretty good friends. They used to do shopliftings and stuff together. Pamela was dating Animal, and during that time, I guess he was staying there with Pamela.
So there's where that triangle comes in, because we've heard all three of those names now: Velda, Pamela, and Animal.
Right. I got the warrant for that address, and because what had happened was there was some confusion in the case from the beginning, because when I got the case file, there was a warrant or part of a warrant in the case file, and I didn't know if they had served a warrant on Wheeler or if they had not served it, you know, because they had secured that area thinking that that address was where Lisa Duncan had been murdered too. And apparently some officers did go inside the house and did see blood stains in Pamela's room on the rug, and that's when they secured it. But then when they found out, I guess it wasn't related, to
Lisa Duncan.
Right.
Right.
They left. So it looked like it had never been served. They had typed it out, but they never served it. And I was trying to see if anybody obtained samples of that blood that was on the carpet so that I could see if that was Velda's blood. August 31st, 2011, I went to the Bernalillo County District Court, and I checked a bunch of files, and I couldn't find the warrant. Right.
So does that mean, from what your investigation, nobody served a search warrant?
No, there was never a warrant served.
After the blood was found?
Yeah, nothing ever happened with it.
And when was that brought up, about the blood? How long after Velda disappeared?
It was, well, it was when they were investigating the case for Lisa Duncan. That's when it happened.
So just mere months
Possibly,
after Velda
yes.
disappeared?
Possibly, yes.
There's no indication on the documents that you went through, that you were able to obtain in being a cold case investigator, that anybody ever put two and two together that Velda Leyba could have been the victim in that home?
No, no. In reading some of the reports, it looked like Pamela had told them that a friend of hers or somebody had been shot there in the leg, but they never followed through with any investigation on that. After talking with one of the people from the APD lab, I asked them if there was a possibility, if they still have the same carpet, if we could try and get DNA from that carpet and from that room. And she said it could still possibly be there. So then what I did was I got a hold of the owner of the house, and I talked to him and I asked him if he had ever changed the carpet, and he said no, he hadn't. The judge signed the warrant, and we did the luminol thing, and we couldn't get anything.
Do you think Velda was killed in that home?
Well, I think there's a good possibility. When I talked to Pamela, she did say something about animal telling the owner of that he had killed Velda for her rings. Apparently she had like between $5,000 and $8,000 worth of gold jewelry.
Wow.
That she would wear, yeah. And so the word was that he killed her to get the jewelry to sell it or trade it for drugs.
I know that you had told us last time that there had been at least 1 or 2 reports on Velda being missing. Did anybody ever include the pictures of the rings?
No, because I don't think they knew about that. See, I found that from Pamela. So, do you want to see that on my laptop, those pictures?
Yes, could we?
When you look at the picture, it has all her jewelry on it. If you do a close-up on it.
That's at least one of the stories you heard.
Yeah.
You have been pouring through the documents that Detective Kimberlin gave us all night long.
I'm excited. So I read over this, and we have the warrant, the affidavit of the warrant at Wheeler.
That's the home.
That's the home.
Where they first thought Lisa Duncan disappeared from.
Yes.
They stopped the search.
Yes.
Because they determined this likely wasn't the home.
Right.
And it was probably her South Valley home is where she disappeared
That's
from, right?
That's right.
But they found blood inside this home.
Yes. She went with that information to tie the blood to her case.
Was there ever any ounce in your body that you thought this was just a woman who drove off in her car and wanted to leave her family?
No, not at all. No, I believe she was murdered. Yeah, and probably in that house.
Here is the home where Velda Leyba may have gone missing from.
Yes.
This is all over the report, this home. This could have been the last place where Velda was seen.
Right.
Okay, so what we do know about this home is that Pam and Felix both stayed here,
yes.
Right? And we do know that, according to Pam, Velda had been hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And this is where she could have disappeared, according to the detective. They believe she disappeared from here.
Yeah. Well, I think there's suspicion, reasonable suspicion, almost probable cause that she was probably murdered in here.
Well, in addition to the blood, though, there's also the statement from Pam, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. This could be probably the last place that Velda was seen.
And we also know that there was blood found here.
Yes.
And that's why they thought Lisa Duncan may have disappeared from this home.
Here.
But when they determined that wasn't the case, they stopped the investigation, they stopped the search, which could have led them to Velda's blood at that time. Velda disappeared in December of '92. Her car was found a little over 2 months after she was last seen.
It was found at near a location where there's a body shop, right, where police did a raid at that business and found a lot of illegal activity.
The house where she is believed to have gone missing from was Northeast.
Right.
We're now in Southwest Albuquerque, in a completely different area. It's known as the South Valley. Yeah, right across the street from where her car was found was a body shop. There it is. There's the body shop.
It's still here.
So there hasn't been any actual link that law enforcement found between the paint and body shop and Velda's disappearance. And by all means, we're not saying that the Padillas had anything to do with her disappearance, but did they know anything about that car?
You know, that's a good question. So this is it, Crystal. This is the actual location where the vehicle was found. They found blood inside the vehicle, right? They processed that, entered it into CODIS, but we still don't have any hits.
No. Did anybody else, though, see her vehicle and who left it here? We know one other person's fingerprints were on this car.
Right.
And that person has ties to the man that keeps getting popped up in this case.
That's right. Steven Felix Martinez. It's in here that they suspect, the detective suspects, that those two murdered Velda. It also gives us information of where Velda might possibly be buried. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Luis Carlos. We're working on a case of a missing person.
We need to break down the theories of what we think could have happened to Velda.
We would definitely have to talk about the theory that there's foul play.
This is not how it used to be.
No.
You know, as soon as you drive into the property, you see there no weapons allowed, no glass allowed. This has become a very family-friendly place to be. But back in 1993 and even earlier, this is a very violent area.
From what we're gathering from this report, over and over again, is that the one man that a lot of people suspect likely did something to Velda had ties to that property.
We have information that there's a possibility that the location of the property is where she might be buried.
From what I have seen and what you have shared with me, I think it's absolutely a very valid area to search.
We'd like to be able to do anything we can to alleviate those concerns. I mean, if those dogs that we're talking about, those cadaver dogs, are able to put a rest to this.
But I think the biggest bombshell of this entire investigation, there was one detective that had been in contact with her before her disappearance, but once she went missing,
He said nothing.
one person out there, Velda's daughter, it could have been closure.
Could have been, absolutely.
I feel really bad for Isabel because, you know, that's her mother. So I mean, we know she's dead, but where's her body?
She just wants to know where her mom's at.
And she said that. She said that all she wants to do is lay her mom to rest.